Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a calm and steady moment today. Take a slow breath and allow your mind to feel relaxed and open. Have you ever listened to native speakers and felt something different about their English? Not just faster, not just smoother, but somehow more natural, more real, more effortless. And you may have wondered, why does their English sound so different? Because when you study English, you learn grammar, you learn vocabulary, you learn correct sentences. But when native speakers talk, it does not always sound like what you learned. Their sentences are shorter, sometimes incomplete, sometimes even unclear, but still, they understand each other perfectly. And this creates a strange feeling. Why does real English sound different from textbook English? Many learners experience this confusion. They study hard, they build correct sentences, they try to speak properly. But when they listen to native speakers, it feels like a different language. And the truth is, in some ways, it is different. Because real spoken English follows different patterns. It is not focused on correctness. It is focused on communication. Another important idea is efficiency. Native speakers do not try to say everything. They say just enough to be understood. And this creates faster communication. Another key point is reduction. Words are often shortened. Sounds are connected. Parts of sentences disappear. And this creates a more natural rhythm. Another important idea is flexibility. Native speakers do not follow fixed sentence structures. They change their sentences while speaking. They start one idea, then adjust it, then continue. This makes their speech dynamic. Another key point is reaction. Real conversations include many small responses. Yeah, right. I know. These are not full sentences, but they are essential. They keep the conversation alive. Let me share a simple example. Two learners say something. The first person says, I would like to go to the restaurant because I am hungry. This is correct, clear, but slightly formal. The second person says, I'm hungry. Let's go eat. Short, direct, natural. Another example. Two people react to a story. The first person says, that is a very interesting situation. The second person says, no way. Really? Same idea, different style. And the second feels more natural because it reflects real usage. Another important idea is rhythm. Native speech is not slow and separate. It flows. Words connect. Sounds blend. And this creates a natural pace. Another key point is imperfection. Native speakers do not speak perfectly. They pause. They repeat. They change their sentences. But they continue. And this continuation is what makes their speech feel fluent. At this point, you may begin to see something clearly. Native English is not about perfect sentences. It is about natural communication. But there is still something important we need to understand. What are the actual patterns that native speakers use? How do they build their sentences in real time? And how can you start using these patterns in your own speaking? And this is where the story begins to go deeper. From textbook English to real English. Now that we understand that real English is different from textbook English, we can begin to explore how native speakers actually build their speech in real time. The goal is not to copy everything. The goal is to understand the patterns behind it. The first step is to notice how native speakers start speaking. They do not wait to build a perfect sentence. They begin quickly. They start with simple words. I think so. Well, these small beginnings give them time. They allow their thoughts to develop while speaking. The second step is to observe how they change their sentences. Native speakers often start one idea and then adjust it. I was going to go, actually, no, I stayed home. This is natural. This is real speech. They do not plan everything. They build their message as they speak. The third step is to notice how they use fragments. Not every sentence is complete. Sometimes they speak in pieces. Too busy. Not really. Kind of. These fragments are short, but they are clear in context. The fourth step is to observe how they repeat and reformulate. They say something, then they say it again in a slightly different way. It was hard, really hard. I liked it. I really liked it. This adds emphasis, and it keeps the flow natural. Let me share a simple example. Two learners try to explain something. The first person builds a perfect sentence. It was a challenging experience that required a significant amount of effort. The second person speaks naturally. It was hard, like really hard. Shorter, more direct, more natural. Another example. Two learners respond to a question. The first person says, I do not believe that I have enough time to complete that task. The second person says, I don't think I have time. Or even, I don't have time. Same meaning, different feeling. The fifth step is to notice how native speakers react constantly. They do not stay silent. They respond while listening. Yeah, right. Exactly. These small reactions create continuous interaction. The sixth step is to observe how they simplify ideas. They do not try to sound complex. They try to be clear, simple words, simple structure, but effective communication. The seventh step is to notice how they connect ideas loosely. They use simple connectors. And so. But this creates natural flow, not perfect structure, but smooth communication. The eighth step is to understand their mindset. Native speakers do not think about grammar rules while speaking. They focus on meaning. They focus on communication. And this creates speed. Another important idea is tolerance for imperfection. They are comfortable with small mistakes. They continue speaking. They adjust naturally. Another key point is familiarity. They use patterns they have used many times. They do not create new sentences from scratch. This makes their speech faster. Another important idea is confidence in simple language. They trust simple words. They trust simple expressions. And this makes their speech natural. At this point, you may begin to notice something different. Native speech feels less controlled, less structured, but more alive, more flexible, more real. But there is still one important part left. How can you start using these patterns? In your own speaking? How can you sound more like real speakers without forcing it? And this is where the story moves forward, from observation to transformation. So now we come to the final part of this story. How can you actually use these patterns in your own speaking? Because understanding native speech is one step, but using it naturally is another. Many learners notice these differences. They see how native speakers shorten sentences. They hear how they use simple expressions. They observe how they react quickly. But when they try to apply it, it feels unnatural at first. So the real goal is not to copy native speakers perfectly, The real goal is to adapt their patterns into your own speaking style. The first step is to start speaking earlier. Do not wait to build a full sentence. Begin with simple words. I think, well, so this allows your thoughts to develop naturally. The second step is to accept changing your sentence. You do not need to finish exactly what you started. You can adjust. You can restart. This is natural. I was going to actually, never mind. This keeps your speech flexible. The third step is to use fragments comfortably. Not everything needs to be complete. Short pieces are enough. Not really. Too much. Kind of. These make your speech faster. The fourth step is to react continuously. Do not stay silent while listening. Respond. Show engagement. Yeah, right. I see. This creates real interaction. Let me share a simple example. Two learners are in a conversation. The first person waits to speak perfectly. They build their sentence carefully. They speak slowly. The conversation feels controlled. The second person speaks differently. They start early. They adjust while speaking. They react quickly. The conversation feels natural because they follow real patterns. Another example. Two learners explain something. The first person says, I believe that the situation was somewhat complicated and difficult to manage. The second person says, it was kind of complicated, hard to deal with, shorter, more flexible, more natural. The fifth step is to trust simple language. Do not try to sound advanced. Use what feels easy. Use what you know well. This increases your fluency. The sixth step is to reduce fear of imperfection. Native speech is not perfect. It includes pauses. It includes repetition. It includes adjustments. This is normal. Continue speaking. The seventh step is to build real conversation experience. Practice is important, but real interaction is essential. Speak with people, even in small ways. This builds natural habits. The eighth step is to stay relaxed. Tension slows your speech. Relaxation allows flow. So breathe. Stay calm. Allow your words to come naturally. Another important idea is identity. See yourself as someone who communicates naturally, not someone who struggles with perfect sentences. This changes your behavior. Another key point is consistency. Natural speaking develops over time, through repetition, through use, through real experience. Another important idea is persistence. There will be moments when your speech feels unnatural again. This is normal. But if you continue, your natural patterns become stronger. Over time, something begins to change. You no longer try to sound like a native speaker. You simply speak naturally. Your ideas flow. Your reactions feel real. Your conversations feel comfortable. And in that moment, you realize something important. Native English is not a special skill. It is a natural way of using simple language. And this is the result of everything you have done. Not more knowledge, but better communication habits. So if you remember one thing from this story, remember this. Do not try to speak perfectly. Start early. Stay flexible. And speak like a real person. Thank you for spending this time with the story. And as always, see you in the next story.